भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all, Thou art all, Thou assumest all forms, Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. ॐ ब्रह्ममेतु मां मधुमेतु मां ब्रह्ममेव मधुमेतु मां ब्रह्ममेधया मधुमेधया ब्रह्ममेव मधुमेधया. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. May Brahman, the all-pervading, absolute, blissful existence, be experienced by me. May the highest bliss, unending, be realized by me. May Brahman, which is also the absolute bliss, be realized by me. May I realize Brahman by purification of understanding. May I realize the highest bliss by purification of understanding. May I realize Brahman, which is also the highest bliss, by purification of understanding. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us feel our true, divine, ever perfect, ever blissful nature in our heart as a bright spark of light. And let us concentrate on that. As I concentrate on it, that light becomes brighter and brighter. I see it is becoming bigger and bigger too. It has occupied my personality completely. I see that I am light. And with that, the whole universe, I see, has become light. The same one light. I am that. I have no limitations of body or mind, of birth and death, of coming and going. I have no desires, for I am all that is. I am peace itself. I am the eternity. No change. I am that I am. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Dear friends, the life is a motion, moving, and then in that movement, in that journey, we see ups and downs. Every journey has ups and downs, whether it is on the physical plane or on the psychic plane or on the spiritual plane. Journey means there would be ups and downs in the journey. It is just you think about your walking, for example. Your foot goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. If it is not going up and down, you can't, there is no movement, there is no walking. Even if you are, say, driving car, if you look at the wheel, it goes up, it goes down, goes up, goes down. So there is up and down. If you look at the ocean, the wave comes, say, forward to you or goes back. You see, it moves. You see the movement up, down, up, down, up, down. So there is this ups and downs in everything. In spiritual life, we have a spiritual goal, a destination that we need to reach. We feel the urgency. We feel the need that I must realize that goal in life. Without that, the living, the existence is just meaningless. What will I achieve ultimately? When you just are growing out of your childhood, you start feeling this idea that what is the meaning of all this? And you think that to unravel that mystery and be established in the ultimate truth is the goal, the destination that I must achieve, without which the life has no meaning. And this idea becomes, stronger, and a person consciously embarks on a spiritual journey. Otherwise, the journey might be happening, but unconsciously. But at a conscious level, now you make a decision that I have to lead my life spiritually. And let us remember the meaning of it. The meaning is, as we saw, the reaching, experiencing the ultimate truth in life. There is no alternative to that. I must do that. And so one is ready for that. But then there are so many other pulls in life. I want to do this also, I want to do that also, I want to do something else also. Then again we take up a spiritual practice as a vehicle for that movement. Okay, I will do prayers, I will do meditation, I will do scripture studies, and so forth. I take up all that as discipline, and then I feel, as I practice that, yes, there is some advancement. I feel happy with that yes, I am not the same person. Things are changing happily for me in the right direction. But then that doesn't last too long. And then you feel a sense of being stuck, or even going down. It is, there is no life in what I am doing. Also, sometimes the other situations in life, they take over, and then your spiritual journey gets a setback. That can happen maybe, but right now these are the priorities. Certain, say, health priorities, physical health. That's a problem, if I want to meditate on God, but the pains and aches in the body is taking away all my thought energy. Then nothing is left to actually meditate on God. So therefore all the meditation goes there. Like they say about the that nice joke, that dental meditation, a Swami of our order was asked about, please tell me about transcendental meditation. And the Swami, was very humorous. He said, I don't know much about transcendental meditation, but I can tell you something about dental meditation. And what is that dental meditation? Imagine you have lot of tooth pain, and you are not able to move your jaw also without that ache, and chewing anything is very difficult. Constantly that pain is there. Now, you may be doing many other things as a routine. You may be going to your work. You may be, say, speaking to people at home and to your friends. You may be watching TV or whatever other things. You may be lying down on bed to sleep. But all the time there is the awareness of the pain, the aching pain. That is constantly there. If you read some scripture, and then they say all the world is just an appearance, Brahman alone is real, you feel the truth of it, only Brahman gets replaced by the aching tooth. That alone seems to be real. And now, with this state of body, the meditation doesn't happen. The meditation is just happening on the tooth. So the health, physical health, if it is not good, when it goes bad, then a lot of energy goes in that direction. And there are some other problems, financial or the family issues, the certain social issues. The mind gets dragged there. The spiritual progress takes a back seat. So we see that this happens a lot, and then at times the soul gets into despair too, that I am not likely to achieve this goal in this life. It is probably I was not made for that. It is, I can't make the cut. Maybe next life, with the Hindus especially, that comes. And that is given as one reason that in that Nation conference, the Christian that authorities decided to get rid of this next birth business. Till then the Christian authorities did believe in that because it is most logical scientific understanding. But then they saw people take recourse that, not in this life, maybe next life. So to get rid of that, no, you have to do this life. That's the only chance. Otherwise, your going to heaven is scuttled forever. So you cannot do that. So you have to put in maximum efforts now. But we Hindus, we think if not this life, somehow we take a very bleak view of things going on in this life, not counting the positives. My spouse is so difficult, this birth, with that I can't achieve much. Then the job situation, they put so much pressure on me all the time, constantly. I am on call or I am doing so much tedious work, and then I feel tired. One doctor I was talking to about spiritual life, and then She said, what to do right from morning. I have to get ready, I have to prepare my charts and then go to the... And it takes time, long time. And then somehow after I come back in the evening, I feel so tired, and then I need time to unwind. And the way to unwind is just put on TV and lie on the couch, take some these snacks, food, usually junk food it is, and thus the time goes away. Then you feel I am so tired, now let me go to bed. From tomorrow I will start behaving better. And that is one of those tomorrows which never come. It is very difficult to do something tomorrow if you are conscientiously avoiding doing it today. Something that you can do today, why do you put it for tomorrow? For what reason? That lethargy. And so it continues like that, because what is going to become better tomorrow? So thus that down comes, that it is no enthusiasm is felt, no particular inclination for spiritual life. And so gradually even that ideal gets forgotten. It is therefore right now, iha eva, as in our Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita they say, iha eva, right now. That otherwise it is going to be a big loss if you don't do it now. Do it now. Determine and move forward. So these ups and downs, they do come in spiritual life. There it is nothing strange about it. Let us not think that it is just one person's problem. This is a universal problem about all types of changes that we intend. Nobody intends that, well, may I have a downfall. That is nobody's wish. But then this is an inevitable part of the process of moving forward, that there would be some downturns. So our expectations have to be tuned to that a progress never is achieved. Right from my, joining as a novice in this order, I have been told by seniors that remember, the progress always is like a wave, goes up, goes down. There are the cycles, that it moves in cycles like that. So like the high tides and low tides. So spiritual life also will have that, but you have to persevere. And that perseverance has to be therefore practiced, especially when you are feeling down. That is when the energy has to be held on to, the patience has to be held on to. One should see that, let me keep on doing this. A disciplined effort therefore has to be continued, even when you are not feeling like doing it, you are feeling down. You are not even remembering that you need to do the practice, daily practice of your movement. So your spiritual movement has to be even at that time kept up. So today we shall see that how this happens, and what are the remedies, what are the symptoms and all this. Even the great spiritual teachers like Sri Ramakrishna, they go through such thing, not at our level, that level is different completely, but you see how Sri Ramakrishna exemplified this in life, his tremendous urge for realizing the God, experiencing the God as the Divine Mother. He was worshipping there in the Kali temple, and then he started having that deep and unsuppressible inquiry. Is this real? If that is real, then I must experience it. Is this just the image that I am worshipping, or there is something behind it? And then at that time, he didn't have any formal method of sadhana, spiritual practice, nothing. Just the yearning became the spiritual practice. Yearning and calling on Mother all the time that please, please, what wrong did I do that you gave your visions to so many saints, and what wrong am I doing? Why are you are impartial, they say, and then why am I being treated as a bad child of yours? No, you should give me vision, please, please, please. That yearning, later he described that it was like a towel, a wet towel, dip it in water, try that, dip it in water for a minute or so, and then the water gets all soaked, and try now to wrench it. He said that as the water starts dripping out from it, he said, my heart was being wrenched as it were like a wet towel. That was the yearning. So he was feeling so down that, I am not able to get realization of God in this life. This life is going just waste. He would cry, going on the bank of Ganges there, rubbing his face on ground, lying down and rubbing his face till sometimes it bled, saying that, today's day also is gone in vain. Could not stop crying as the sun is going down. He would see that, it is Dakshineshwar where he was doing, it was on that eastern bank, and then he would see the sun going down from there, and the sun, today's day also is gone. Mother, you have not given me your vision even today. And so the days and days were spent in that kind of despair. So imagine, Sri Ramakrishna is just exemplifying it for us, that it happens to everybody that you make effort for some time, and sometimes you feel that you are on the right path, you are moving well, things are going nicely, smoothly. It is, but then comes what Saint John of Cross describes as the dark night of soul, that it is. Then you feel the despair. What is happening? I am not moving forward at all. And thus, that in despair, then one sometimes gives up the practice. One loses faith that there is nothing like God. I tried, it is just, it never happens. It is, or maybe it happens only to some fortunate soul, I am sure I am not one of them. And so it is not going to happen. And at least in this life, it is not going to happen at all. That comes as a conclusion. Then there are other ways it happens. You get a big blow somehow the life is full of blows, and not all have the capability of taking it as a message from God. Sometimes some very near and dear dies, and then what happens? It is, oh, God did this to me. I don't want to do anything with that God business. By doing meditations for so long and giving donations to that Vedanta society or such a religious institution, and then practicing devotions, attending that Swami's classes and all that, still, see what? My near child, my such a dear child, was taken away by God. No! Nothing to do with that God anymore. So that depression comes. One kind of gives away all the practice. Not that things become better by that. It is. I remember that conversation with one gentleman. We used to have conversations. I don't know what has happened to him these days. If he is alive or not, that also I don't know. It is that he would tell Swami, I think I am wasting my time. Nothing is happening. I do the meditation and all that you said, mantra, I do for a time and then, but what's the use? I am not moving at all. It is useless. So I am going to give up. Okay, I said, okay, by giving up, do you think you will move forward? And then he would say, oh, that you have a point there. By giving up, I am not going to move forward at all. Yeah. Said, then why not continue? What loss is there if you continue? Suppose even if you are not moving, continue. Does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt as such. Then why? Continue. So it is, but feelings come that nothing is happening. So why? Because it is a boring affair, It seems to be boring, and the main problem that comes, that it is a movement that has to take us away from lot of attractions of our body and mind. It is full of so many attractions, and those attractions keep on pulling us. So it is there is this statement that it becomes, I am telling a note written about, a very beautiful note by one Brianna Waste. She is a writer on some the spiritual topics, and she says about dark night of the soul, that every person experiences that, and I am quoting now, the dark night of the soul is a spiritual depression, a kind of existential crisis that requires a deep and painful dip that must be experienced before enlightenment. That must be experienced. It is so true, friends, that when what we thought as the avenues for enjoyment have to be given up for spiritual enlightenment, There is no way you can have both, It is to be remembered that if you want the real thing, you cannot just keep on rushing towards its mirror reflections. Why we keep on rushing towards the reflections of so-called that happiness in various objects. Various objects that we see are like mirrors, in which we see the reflection of our inner source of happiness, and then we rush to it, thinking that this particular dish, and that varies from people to people. For Vitthal, it is one dish for his dad, it is another dish for his mom, it will be another dish. But then you feel that that's going to give me happiness. It is a reflection of your true happy being in that object. And if you therefore are going towards that object to grab it for happiness, essentially, what are you doing? Getting away from the source of happiness. And thus, you are told, if you want the source of happiness, your true spiritual nature, which is that, then stop going to the reflections of that happiness in different objects. If you keep on running to those reflections, what's going to happen, Vitthal? You would be? You will never be happy. See, correct, he understood right. You will never be happy. So therefore, now you have to get yourself away from the clutches of those objects. Because of our attachment, we went to get it, and then instead of I grabbing it, it grabbed me. And now I have to get out of the clutches of that. So it is, and then those objects, they tell you, no, you will miss us. And it becomes very difficult to wean away from that. That is why, in Bhagavad Gita, in the 6th chapter, it says that actually what you call yoga, means joining, is actually viyog called yoga. Viyog means disjoin. That it says that you have joined yourself to that which is giving you misery instead of happiness. Disjoin with that. That is the yoga. Viyogam yoga sanjnitam tam vidyad. A very powerful expression there. Tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanjnitam. That it is said that, look, you are joined with the misery, dukkha. You are connected with this suffering. Now you have to disjoin from that. And thus you will be happy. You don't have to do anything to become happy. You have to just disjoin yourself from what you are thinking as a source of happiness, but it is the source of misery. If you are, say, holding a hot iron ball, and then if you are looking, how can I get rid of that burning pain on my hand? Drop that iron ball, that hot ball. That's what is to be done. So then next, those things are secondary. Apply some ointment and all that. But first thing is drop it. So, this is the main idea that why the depression comes is because of so many attractions. One devotee whom I requested that can you send me some nice pointers for this talk. I am not able to think much, so please give me some suggestions. And she, very kind-hearted, obliged, and said that the lack of concentration, if you are not able, that concentration is not happening, then that brings depression. Then daydreaming, yeah, that is another thing, it is a way of dwelling on our worldly desires. It is, you cannot grasp that object itself, so you mentally go to that and keep on dwelling on it. And that takes away tremendous mental energy and time, of course. Then you do not know what the scriptures or the teachers have actually told. You get confused about it. So then there are unrealistic expectations that I should be progressing in a continuous upward direction. It is not possible, basically. So these are some of the reasons for one feeling that down. It is that you feel distraught and not enthusiastic at all about the spiritual practice. So, this is, and therefore the ways also are just opposite. This is a wonderful book that I many times refer to on such topics, with the psycho-spiritual topics, Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatishwarananda. And I suggest all spiritual aspirants should read this book, study it thoroughly. It is a great help in our overcoming many of these issues. And one chapter that concerns our today's discussion very much is, it is titled very beautifully, Reactions to Sadhana, Reactions to Spiritual Practice. When you take up some spiritual practice, there are the reactions. Like when you take that COVID vaccine, some people have a lot of reaction to that. Now, that reactions are expected reactions. They are not unexpected. Because when that vaccine is going to do something inside, whatever is there inside is going to change. Something has to alter there, and while changing, it will show some resistance. It will not be surrendering meekly to whatever is being done. It will therefore react. And then that reaction is actually a sign that the vaccine is acting, vaccine is working. Many medications are like that, especially in homeopathy. They say that a medication is working when you get the symptoms of the disease heightening, becoming more pronounced, because that is how initially you see that the medicine makes that those symptoms of the disease more pronounced before eradicating them. So As you take up to spiritual practice, many such reactions come. And a spiritual aspirant should just be aware of those and then what to do when they come. So, what are those reactions? He quotes from two very important Vedanta books. One is the Aparokshanubhuti, that immediate experience, that could be the English translation of it, Aparokshanubhuti, experience without any immediacy. So, it is said there, while practicing sadhana, there appears unavoidably many obstacles such as lack of inquiry. That you have to keep on inquiring, but that stops. Idleness, desire for sense pleasure, sleep, dullness, distraction, tasting of joy, and the sense of blankness. One who desires the knowledge of Brahman should slowly get rid of such innumerable obstacles. Then another authority he quotes from is Patanjali, Yoga Aphorisms, which says, disease, mental laziness, doubt, lack of enthusiasm, lethargy, clinging to sense enjoyments, false perception, non-attaining concentration, and falling away from the state when obtained are the obstructing distractions. I am not going to elaborate on each of these, but one should take note of these, that these things do happen. As we move forward, there will be these difficulties, and one may succumb to that. And what is to be done to counter that? The best medicine for these, it is, you can say, a very potent and one medicine for all these problems is holy company. Holy company, that is what Sri Ramakrishna used to prescribe, especially to the householders, disciples, that go to holy company. And what happens with holy company? Because for most of us, wherever our surroundings, they govern our thoughts, our mental state. It is whatever surroundings we are in, that becomes the ruler, as it were. That is why I suggest many people come here often, because the atmosphere is very, very important. One may say that, well, what's it is, I do meditation at home, isn't it that good? Well, it is good, but it is not equally effective. It is good to meditate at home rather than watching that idiot box, but it is, but it will be more effective, more inspiring if you do it in a holy place where you have automatically the helpful atmosphere. That is one very important treatment for all this, because you see likes of you struggling, practicing, and thus, being with them, conversing with them. Conversing means not, because that is one of the obstacles mentioned by that devotee, that we start something called spiritual conversation, but without being conscious of it, it peters into all different directions. That is the nature of the idle talk, that it immediately branches out in something else. So one should therefore refrain from a worldly chit-chat, concentrate on these things in our every effort that when we are in a holy company. So take the holiness of that company. So that makes us holy. So that is one way of overcoming many of these distractions. Then there must be a discipline, a strong sense of discipline has to be put in. It is, if there is a discipline, for the sake of that discipline, we will continue even though we are not liking it. Like today, I was myself, to tell you the example, was not feeling like giving this lecture. I am not feeling prepared and just like to sleep. How many lectures I have to give and all that. So I was not feeling up to it. But then, well, you have to do it. It is discipline. It is that discipline pushes you. Even if I am feeling sleepy, it is when it is early morning, I have to get up and start meditating. There is, if we have that installed a very powerful discipline program to control our behavior, then that becomes a great, means to overcome these downs. I mean, the downs will be there, but that they will not be able to stop your progress. So, it is many such things have to be, seen and practiced. So, it tells a very important this thing that here as causes of reaction. Causes, as you start spiritual practice, there will be reactions. So what are these? A good deal of the obstacles that beset an spiritual path are created by our careless ways of living. All the symptoms that he told about, what happens, these reactions, what are the types. He notes one important point there, that all these are self-made. Don't blame anybody else outside for that. That is a big trap, to blame something outside. That what to do, my spouse is like that. No, then you will not be able to overcome it because the wrong diagnosis. It is you are the cause. All these are you made those. There is no, the weather is too bad. No, don't. That is not the reason for that. Do not blame anything. This government is not doing anything. That is the God and government. They are very handy to put all the blame, as if they are big trash cans. So just put whatever we don't like, blame it on God, blame it on government. What happens thereby is there is no cure effected because the cause is, your own carelessness. Do not be careless. That is the biggest problem. I'll quote one verse from Kathopanishad now, that it is carelessness, being callous about these things is about spiritual life, makes for all these terrible reactions to continue. So it becomes then down, never goes up. Its situation becomes like that if we do not take up as a very careful, consciously disciplined approach. It is a very beautiful verse in Kathopanishad. It is in the 2nd chapter, 3rd canto, 11th verse. Tam yogamiti manyante sthiram indriya dharanam apramattas tada bhavati yogo hi prabhavapyayo. This yoga, this discipline, this spiritual practice, it comes, it goes. That is its nature. The truth does not change at all. Our inner true nature is constantly there. It never gets obliterated. What happens is you are connected to it when the yoga is happening. When it is not happening, when it is down, you are not connected to it. So consciously, and how it is that pramatta means carelessness. Pramad is not being conscientious and careful about it. I have to do it. In many things, those who are very good at spiritual life, their progress in spiritual life is actually judged by how they are careful in doing their very minute things. That is why Swami Vivekananda says that as I am growing, I see more the value of how a person behaves in the minute little actions, the most ordinary actions that the person is doing. He says in front of 1,000 people, as anybody can show some heroic qualities. But that is not that person's nature, and therefore it is how that person talks, walks in normal circumstances, the daily activities, how that person brushes the teeth, and that also is so important to see. The person is very careful there also. Very little things. I always remember in this context that example of great Raman Maharshi. There they make leaf plates for food, so he was making the leaf plate with great care. And somebody said, well, hey, this leaf plate, why you are putting so much care into it? So it is, he said, well, it is not just making leaf plate, it is a spiritual practice. It is going to be used by devotees, by God. Devotees in the form of, the God's form is those devotees. So I am doing for that. Do it. One of our great Swamis used to say that, see, if you are doing carelessly something, then your mind gets that wrong tendency. The same mind you are using for doing very important things and unimportant things. Actually, everything is very, very important to train the mind. So even in the minor things, this person is very truthful. It is that goes according to what has been thought to be the schedule. Never just be 10 minutes late, what does it happen? No. One has to be particular, conscious. The carelessness is one most important reason in this Kathopanishad verse for the yoga to be stopped functioning in our life. Apramattas tada bhavati. Yogo hi prabhavapyayo. That yoga, if you are not cautious, it drops off. If you are cautious, then it goes with you. So it is very important that it is perseverance, holy company, and strict discipline. So with these, we will be able to move forward in remembering that there is the up, there is down, but that doesn't make you depressed, because there is the up to come. You continue practice with perseverance, without yielding to it. So, yes, down it is happening. My therapist also told, that physical therapist, that I said, well, I felt better 2 days, but then after your yesterday's treatment, I didn't feel good. And then I was told, well, that happens. It is never going to be continuously improving. There will be improvement, then the improvement stops, then again improvement takes place. So that is the pattern we have seen with all patients, not just you. So the point is to continue without relenting. And I will conclude with a very important passage that I read this morning, and which is very pertinent for this topic today, and that is actually from a lecture that was given by Swami Shivananda, the second president of Ramakrishna Order, during the first convention of this whole Ramakrishna Order in 1926. And that whole lecture is so important, giving the spiritual discipline, the goal of our order and all that. But I am right now talking about this going down and up, because this is a great ideal. There will be times when there is going to be some downside, some upside. So it is and I quote here, putting your faith in the Lord, every one of you can say, let me stand where I am and I shall move the world. I exhort you with all the earnestness at my command not to be disturbed or discouraged by momentary failures. Failures are but the stepping stones to success. Viewing success and failures alike, work on with unswerving faith in Him, that is God, and victory will be yours at the end. I only pray that your surrender may be complete. Be like the arrow that darts from the bow. Be like the hammer that falls on the anvil. Be like the sword that pierces its object. The arrow does not murmur if it misses the target. The hammer does not fret if it falls on a wrong place. And the sword does not lament if it is broken in the hands of its wielder. Yet there is a joy in being made, used and broken, and an equal joy in being finally set aside. It is very important to continue our journey in this spirited way, that why worry whether it will happen or not happen? Let us put our heart and soul and move forward with complete dedication that yes, it is going to happen because I am divine. There is no way that I can miss that. So this is the way you can overcome these depressions or the downs in spiritual life. Hold on to this spiritual core of our being and march on, march on. Do not worry about what will happen if I don't succeed and all those things. Just don't, let us not give space to those thoughts which will just continue the depression. So, thank you friends. uh, we will meditate on this thought for a few seconds, and in case if you have questions, we will be taking them up, questions or comments. Yes, anything?
There are two questions, Maharaj.
Yes.
From Lakshman Thakur. Swamiji, what are the means of increasing yearning for God besides increasing meditation and purification of everyday life more and more?
Yes. The yearning increases when we see that nothing else is necessary in life but God. God is the only thing that is to be hankered for. That is the one that is going to bring fulfillment in our life. And so, discarding dependence on any other thing, we have to hold on that to God. That is the only source for dependence, for the happiness in life, for progress. That will bring the yearning. It is the yearning as because that is very important. Yearning is the Sri Ramakrishna used to say that having an intense yearning for God is like the halo of the dawn. And then when you see that, you know that the sunrise isn't far away. So when one gets that yearning, that means, yes, the God realization is at hand. So that yearning comes when we have that practicing of the intense dispassion. Not clinging to so many things like our attractions, the family attractions, the attractions for in our profession, many things that are there. If we are deriving so-called pleasure from those, then the yearning for God realization will not be intense. So therefore, one has to discard dependence on them, and then the yearning will become more and more pronounced, focused. It is like, how to get the power in a steam engine. You have to plug the holes through which the steam would be otherwise wasting away. If it is wasting away, then there won't be power to that steam. So, similarly, our yearning becomes weak if there are so many holes for this yearning to just fritter away. So, my yearning for this thing, my yearning for that thing, and my other yearnings, those yearnings, they will then take away from the yearning for God. So intensity of that yearning depends on this as well.
Second question from Lakshman Thakur again. Swamiji, briefly, what are the points of Lord in answering Arjun's quote on how realized person behaves, talks, walks, etc.? If time allows, please answer.
Oh, well, it is a big question really. It is about 20 verses at the end of second chapter are devoted to that. What it shows is that in everything the person of steady wisdom, sthita prajna or illumined person, the actions outwardly are similar. Only thing, there is no desire for anything in that. So, that is how prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. So, all the desires have been banished, and yet that person is tremendously, infinitely happy in this self. So, Atmanevatmana tushta sthita prajnas tadochyate. So, is fully, blissful because of this self. So, that is. So, oh, you have a question, Yona, please go ahead.
Why was the sense of joy listed as one of the obstacles?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought you were listening intently. Very good. It is. The experience of joy in meditation is not the goal. What happens is then you get stuck there. You stop moving forward. It is because you feel, wow, this experience of joy is so nice. But that is not the goal. It is not the God. It is the joy of just that meditational practice. In that stage you are feeling it, and since it was much better than the joy of the sensual contacts, sense contacts, you feel, this is so good, and thus you get stuck in that. That is why it is an obstacle. So, let me tell you in brief what are the programs coming up. Oh, there is no March flyer here, but I vaguely remember the topic for coming Sunday. It is love, the tool for spiritual progress. So, love is the tool for that. That is the topic next Sunday. And then the programs will continue, other programs like Tuesday, Friday classes at 7:30 p.m., the morning, evening meditations. On coming Saturday, there will be a day-long meditation. So, please watch for the newsletter to see all other programs. So, and then there is on 14th of March, there is going to be the celebration of Sri Ramakrishna's birth anniversary, and the registration for it is going to start from Monday, March 1st. So, you can start registering. There is the email address at which you have to register. Simple, Providence, name of the city, at rkmm.org. So please send your emails as early as you can to avoid disappointment. Disappointment in the sense, the space is not going to be infinite, so much restricted due to COVID, but let's see, we will try to accommodate as many as we can. Thank you. We will conclude with the closing prayers and then the arati. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.
auspicious and blessed, graciousness sublime, all nobles you give to us, granting us refuge, all seeing glory. O Mother Divine, our love to creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence. O Mother Divine, our love to we come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess. O Mother Divine, our love to victory. O Mother Divine, our love to blessed Mother Divine, our love to blessed Mother Divine, our love to blessed Mother Divine, our love to Jai Shri Ram Krishna Deva Ki Jai, Jai Shri Sarada Devi Ki Jai, Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Ki Jai, Jai Shri Buddha Deva Ki Jai, Jai